on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com, where we do daily financial news and commentary from a black perspective. And so anyway, today I want to talk a little bit about Netflix. A lot of you know Netflix has made a ton of money. They have, most of you have a Netflix account. Netflix is a company that doesn't appear to have any trouble making money. And the crazy thing is that Netflix actually, despite the fact that they made about $15 billion in revenue last year, didn't pay any taxes, which is kind of insane. And so what I'm going to do is send a quick note to the tribe to let them know that we're live. If you want to get notified when we go live on the Black Financial Channel, just text the word Black Wealth. Put it as one word, not two words. Text Black Wealth to 31996. Text Black Wealth to 31996. In the meantime, please hit the thumbs up button and shout out your city. And I'm gonna send out a note to the tribe real quick, and then I'm gonna get it cracking. So give me about 20 seconds, and go ahead and text Black Wealth as one word, not two, to 31996. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So, here's the deal. They're making a big stink out of it, with the upcoming election, and they should be making a big stink of it. You got a lot of companies that are making just money hand over fist, that are paying less in taxes than you are. I'm not a tax expert. I don't proclaim to be, but I am a person that knows a little bit about money and finance. So I'm going to try to put a little context on this and kind of break it down for you a little bit. I'm going to do a more extensive lecture on these topics in the Black Business School. So if you haven't joined theblackbusinessschool.com, join us. You can get started for free. It won't cost you anything to get started. We want the Black community. Our Project 2070. Project 2070, it's a 50-year vision. Project 2070 is where we believe that by the year 2070, the Black community can be the most financially intelligent group of people on earth. So it's not about you, it's about your kids and your grandkids. So we're thinking that far ahead. That's how you conquer things. That's how you accomplish your goals. So anyway, I want to ask you guys a yes or no question. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you have a Netflix subscription. How many of you right now are subscribed to Netflix? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. Hey, King Royal and Jabari and John Womack and Gregory. Give me a yes or no if you have a subscription to Netflix. If you are a Netflix subscriber, type yes in the chat. Okay, I'm looking for. Okay, I see a couple of no's. Okay, I see Duel in there. How you doing, Duel? Timothy Dark says yes. Darius says no. Lorenzo, yes. J Real, yes. Yeah. I have a Netflix subscription too, and a lot of people do. A ton of people are subscribed to Netflix. Netflix is very popular for obvious reasons, and so Netflix makes a lot of money, and Netflix has a really peculiar business model in my mind, because I've always been, sort of confused by the fact that Netflix, despite the fact that they have so many subscribers, they're growing so fast, and they're such a big company, they just seem to print money. I just never understood why they weren't as profitable as they should be. I never understood why Netflix keeps actually going deeper in debt. I don't know if you guys know this, but Netflix goes deeper in debt. And some related to what they call the streaming wars, where right now you've got Disney Plus and all these other streamers coming on, jumping out there. And by the way, there is a black streaming service. There are a couple of them, actually. One of them is called Kweli TV, Kweli TV. And I met the CEO of Kweli TV. We actually distribute a lot of our films with Kweli TV. We don't want Netflix. We don't care about getting our movies on Netflix. You guys know we have Boyce Watkins Films. We made the Black Love Blueprint, all about black love and relationships. We made Resurrecting Black Wall Street, the Blueprint, which is all about the Black Wall Street Massacre. We also made some other films, Raising a Black Scholar, about the Black homeschool movement, etc. And I met with the CEO of Kweli TV, and we're actually streaming our films through Kweli TV. We're not using BET Plus because BET is not a black-owned company. BET markets to black people. They make money from black people. They sell products to black people, but they're not owned by black people. It doesn't mean BET is bad. It just means that BET is not a black company. So just make that clear. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes or no? If you agree, if you understand that BET is not a black-owned company. The Root is not a black-owned company. There's a lot of media outlets out here that are not black-owned. They're not that they're bad. They're just not black-owned. And I think that's very important for you to just understand the distinction between a company that sells to black people versus a company that is black-owned. Okay, so if you get it, then thank you for saying yes in the chat. I appreciate that. Now we can move forward. All right, so here's the deal. All right, so there's this article in CNBC where they are basically referring to the fact that there is this sort of weird issue with all these companies. It's not just Netflix, but there are a lot of companies that pretty much paid zero effective income taxes in 2018. And that's, obviously an outrage for a lot of people, as it should be. It should be a concern. And it's sort of built on the way America's structured. It's not just Netflix and the company that made $16 billion last year, but also according to this list, if you go down the list, you've got companies on here like I think JetBlue was on there. Let me see if I can find some more. Salesforce.com. Let's see here. Amazon. Amazon. Amazon, the trillion-dollar company run by the richest man on earth, Jeff Bezos. Zero effective taxes. How's that for pimping? I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you think Amazon should be paying taxes? Give me a yes or no if you think Amazon should be asked to pay a little bit more in taxes. I don't know. Some of you may feel like he shouldn't pay more, right? Some of you understand how all this stuff works. But do you think that Jeff Bezos and Amazon should be paying taxes? Okay, I do. I agree. Now, here's the thing. The reason I was hesitant to say yes is not because I don't feel that they should pay more. Actually, I could show you studies that basically show that the reason that our deficits are growing every year and the national debt is spiraling out of control is because America has become rigged in favor of wealthy people and in favor of those who run businesses. Investors have rigged America. It started way back before some of you were born. It started actually back during the Reagan era. Remember, I told y'all, if you want to get ahead, you got to make plans. You got to make plans to conquer, to get ahead. So they started making plans in the 70s on how they were going to shift the narrative and basically get corporations tax breaks, because before that time, corporations were paying a lot of tax. They had much better pension plans, all this stuff, to the point where it was actually weighing the companies down. The pension plans were becoming burdensome. The tax burdens were becoming pretty massive. And so during the 80s, they got this guy in office by the name of Ronald Reagan, and they basically formulated a plan to set up a scenario where corporations wouldn't have to pay that much. And so after Reagan got shot, he pushed through some legislation, one of which was a modification of the tax code that allowed for corporations and investors to pay a lower tax rate than regular people, called the capital gains tax. The capital gains tax basically is the tax you pay on money you make from your investments. And what the capital gains tax also allows you to do is it allows you to write off your expenses and your losses from your taxes. Right. And so effectively what a lot of business owners and investors do is they spend a ton of money. They spend more than you do, and they spend, in many cases, it actually enhances their lifestyle. But if they can write it off as a business expense, like if they take a trip to Rome, because, and they go have a couple business meetings in Rome, they get to write off that whole trip. So instead of paying, $3,000 to go to Rome, maybe they're paying $1,500 or $1,800 to go to Rome, right? So effectively, that ability to sort of write off things that you're doing on a daily basis, that works heavily in favor of people who are workaholics, that structure their business around their lifestyle. And so let me read a little bit of this to you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, please hit the notification bell and make sure you subscribe. TheBlackFinancialChannel.com. We're growing a Black-owned financial channel that does daily financial news and commentary from a Black perspective. So it's TheBlackFinancialChannel.com. Make sure you subscribe. So some of the other companies on the list that didn't pay taxes or have a zero effective tax rate are Chevron, FedEx. What's another one? I saw another one. MGM. MGM, Starbucks did not pay taxes. Let's see here. Who else is on the list? Eli Lilly, Whirlpool, Levi Strauss, Pitney Bowes, JetBlue, and Avis. So a lot of these companies are making money hands over fist. They're making a hell of a lot more money than you, and they're not paying taxes. And so if you want to know why I don't really disagree at all with a lot of the conversation happening on the Democratic Party side of the table about corporations and billionaires sort of being held in check, it's because these laws are built in such a way that there are people that are able to easily manipulate the process and pay less taxes than working class people. Now, what thought do I have for black people? This isn't even advice. This is just a perspective. One of the things that we talk about in the Black Business School, since the black wealth problem is our number one problem that we are experts on, we lead the world in expertise on understanding how to solve the black wealth problem at a family level. One of the things that we recommend is that every black family should have a family business. Every black family should have a family business because there's a difference between spending money where you get no tax break versus investing money where you get a massive tax break. If you are spending money on behalf of your business, then you can write off you can write that amount off. Or if you're making investments, you can write that off. And so companies like Netflix and Whirlpool and JetBlue and Amazon, what they're doing is they're basically spending money just like you, but they're getting tax cuts as a result of that, right? And if they can spend enough to wipe away a lot of their profit, and a lot of businesses have foundations and things like that, and that allows them to pretty much minimize their tax bill. So effectively, my point is to say at the end of the day, if you want my opinion on whether or not America's rigged, I have people that are really skeptical of black people being taught the principles of wealth, which I think is very sad. It's not a good thing. If you want people to keep you away from understanding how wealth works, I don't know what their goal is. I guess if their plan is to keep you broke like them, then maybe they'll succeed. But for those of you that want to understand the game and why it's rigged and how to make sure that you're not screwed by the game, I would encourage you to become an investor. So that means investing in stocks and bonds, investing in real estate, investing in your own business. If you do that, then what happens is you get the benefits that wealthy people get. So when people say America's rigged, I say you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. Now, you could go to Washington and you can protest and picket and, stand in front of the Capitol building and, and tell them that they need to change the law. You can go fight for that. That's fine. But another way you can do it is you can say, okay, the game is what it is. The structure is what it is. I'm going to put my family in a good position by becoming an investor. So that's why. So if you want to know how these large companies, like Netflix, not pay taxes, it's because Netflix has a lot of expenses and a lot of investments. And the reason that they give investors lower tax rates is the argument, which is actually a flawed argument, but the trickle-down theory argument that says that if they incentivize companies, that by charging them lower taxes, they're giving them incentives to make additional investments, which theoretically is supposed to create more jobs and things like that. But it actually doesn't really do that as much as it actually just increases the wealth of the people at the very top, right? So if you want to know why I'm a big advocate of buying shares of stock, you can do basic things like the amount of money that you're going to spend on Christmas gifts, spend the same amount of money on your investments. The amount of money you spend on fast food, spend the same amount of money buying shares of stock. That's a great way to build wealth for the next generation. Is to just something real basic you could do right now tomorrow is on what's that app, the Cash App. The Cash App lets you buy shares of stock. So one fun thing you may want to try is do a matching program for yourself. Every time you spend money on fast food or going out to eat, buy an amount of stock that matches the amount you spent on the fast food, right? So if I spent $10 at McDonald's, I'm buy $10 worth of stock. $20 at Wendy's, I'm going to buy $20 worth of stock. If you do that consistently throughout your life, given that the average American spends $3,000 a year on fast food, you will actually have a net worth that actually exceeds most Americans, right? So remember, with black people, here's the dilemma you're facing. By the year 2053, median black wealth is expected to be zero. That means that half the population will be above zero, half the population will be below. So when I think about who I want to see above that water, who the people I don't want to see drown, it's you. I think you're going to be the people that aren't going to drown, but you got to just do something a little bit different. So that's why I brought up the story. And they're reading through and they actually make some policy recommendations that they think would be good for the country. Because here's the thing, because corporations aren't paying their fair share, it is hurting the country. America's national debt is at a pretty much almost unsustainable level. I think that the deficit went to $1 trillion this year. It's a big mess. And it's only going to get worse because these politicians are incredibly dysfunctional. They're not very effective. They just can't get anything done. So you're kind of in a country where things are headed south, and if you want to know why, this week I was over in Africa looking for new opportunities and new possibilities. It's because I don't think the future is here in America. I think the future is in Africa, right? So that's my 2 cents. That's what I believe, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm about to bounce out of here, guys. So please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. Also, visit the Black Business School. We love teaching you. We have 80,000 students worldwide. We have a lot in Africa. I met a bunch of you over in Ghana, and so we got a lot of hundreds or tens of thousands of students in the United States. And our goal is to actually offer you a low cost, high quality, culturally relevant alternative to an overpriced college education. It's right now college costs too much. Student loan debt is actually causing black wealth to go down. So we actually teach you better because we have people like billionaire Mike Roberts that have come through. We have people like Dr. Claude Anderson. You can't get that at a university. So these are some of the things we can do for you, and I think we can help you. So feel free to go talk to one of our specialists at theblackbusinessschool.com, and make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. We'll be in here every day, just breaking things down for you. All right, guys, I'm out of here, and you are welcome, Miss Essie. I see your thank you in here. I appreciate that very much. And same to you, Jabari. You guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.